Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Bird, Nick, and that music is really effing loud. I don't know. Joining me on the phone is Noah Zalesnik. How you doing, Noah?
Good. I like the nice musical intro there.
Was that nice. Stupid loud for you too?
I was like at a concert.
Was that really loud for you too?
It was pretty loud.
Okay, all right. I'll have to check that in post because that was my ears are bleeding. So anyway, so Noah, we are here. It's the end of 2024. And it is time.
You know what that means?
Oh, it's time to talk some death. We're gonna recap the year, and then also we're gonna get into who died and who we think is gonna die in 2025. But
your annual in memoriam episode.
It is. This is our second annual.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
We've
done
longer. I think we're always talking about people who pass and whatnot, but I think this is the second time that you and I have gotten together to do this. So,
very nice.
and we have our predictions from last year, so we need to see how we did. But first, let's get a cigar going. And tonight, you and I are going to be doing something a little special. We're going to be both smoking the Blackbird Crow Box Press Toro. It's a 6x52 cigar featuring a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, a Dominican Habano binder, and filler from Nicaragua and the United States from Pennsylvania. And this cigar you got through a program with Blackbird. Do you want to talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, I'm involved in a tasting panel, so they'll send me stuff. I don't know exactly how often it is, but a couple times a year, cigars that haven't reached the market yet, and they just kind of want to do, get some general feedback on the cigars before they hit market, and if they need to, tweak stuff or where they're going to price stuff, and just kind of just getting an overall opinion on stuff before it hits market. Not too dissimilar to when we were in a Pulpit Fest with that last the 1800 there.
Yeah, the 1888 box press from Villiger there.
Yeah, and that's the same with this Crow. They're doing a box press version that we're smoking now.
Okay.
So I don't know offhand, but I want to say I think it's the same blend. I think they're just changing
just box
from
press
round to box press. Yeah.
Well, fine. Well, I procured two of these from Jonas. Jonas and I were going to record this year, but it looks like we're probably going to end up recording for the very beginning of 2025, just based off of scheduling, it seems. So I'm smoking it for the first time with you, and I'll smoke it the second time with him. So, it would have been the other way, but hey, life happens.
Such is life.
Such is life. And so now it is time to cut the cigar, and the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. So, give this guy a little bit of a cut. And see what's what. You and I were just talking earlier about how it's the time of year when you kind of got to be a little forgiving of wrappers and things like that because, temperatures and all.
Yeah, with us Midwest folks especially, and especially with not that that's the case here, but especially with your lighter wrappers, that kind of sudden degree drop from the inside of your house to going outside or garage, wherever you might be. It can you might have some wrapper issues, so kind of grade on a curve, if it were.
Exactly. So I'm not saying I had any issues, but I was very careful with the cut there due to trying to avoid a cap crack. So, well, while we light the cigars, why don't we hear the greatest commercial that we've ever heard?
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so, they can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I've got a lighter.
I swear to God, it
What?
seems longer every time I hear that commercial.
Oh, I know. It's still a minute 16 every single time. But, boy, I'm having issue with my lighter, too. I don't know if the lighter's cold and not wanting to... It's like it's clicking.
Nothing works. Nothing works good when it's cold, man.
Gotta get the cigar going here. But I'll tell you, my garage is warmer than hell. Some of the times when I was out in the tent, I mean, it was colder outside than it is today. And I mean, I have a little heater going and everything, which I did get myself a Mr. Heater. I got a little buddy. And
Merry Christmas.
Oh my God. I'll tell you what, my feet are nice and roasty warm. And I went to Target and I stocked up on they have the little 2-packs of 1 pound propane canisters, for in the camping section. And you get two canisters for $10. And what's nice is they're disposable. So when you're done, you just throw them away. And I don't have to worry about disposal and all that kind of stuff and everything. But I did get myself stocked up on those. And I don't know. Technically, I could buy a hose and connect a larger can of propane to this. But then I'd have to look into that. So right now, I'm pretty happy with the little 1 pound guys. They tend to last. So.
How long does one of those last? One of those heaters?
All depends. I have found that if I have the garage door up and like opened, and I have if I have the garage door opened and I have the heater on high, then it will it'll probably go out in about 3.5 to 4 hours. But I put a new canister on tonight, and I've had it on I'd say probably about an hour, and I've got it on low. So I'm waiting to see. I'm wanting to see how long it lasts on low. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
It's not bad for $5 a piece.
No, not too bad at all. And then, I mentioned in the show with Ed that I ordered that fan for my window. So right now my window is just open because that's the one thing. Given the fact that I'm using propane, I got to have some ventilation. So I do have the window open for some fresh air, and
you don't want to Willy Loman yourself.
No, I don't. I do have a carbon monoxide detector plugged in the outlet right to my right. So I'm watching, and if that light turns any color other than green, I'm going inside real quick. But well, I guess I probably should go out the back door outside real quick. But anyway, yeah, the bottom line is I am watching the carbon monoxide, but I think I'm all right. And yeah,
You don't need to be added to this death list.
no, I don't. I mean, I don't want to do that. So, all right, well. Why don't, all right, since we are smoking this for your review purposes, I do think we ought to be a little bit more cognizant about the cigar. So early thoughts right off the foot. What do you think, like right off the light?
That is a good idea for a cigar podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting some leathery, earthy, kind of a little hint of pepper.
Yeah, yeah.
The pepper is more enhanced through the nose. I don't know if you did any retro yet.
I literally just did one, and it's not a very significantly harsh one. It's not like I'm like, oh my God, hacking up a lung.
No.
But it is a little peppery in the nasal cavity there. But and you're right, leathery and earthy would be exactly what I would say.
That's what I got.
Okay, which kind of makes sense with that Mexican San Andreas wrapper, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right, so before we get into death, I think we ought to recap 2024 just a little bit. And I had a really badass website through Britannica that had like a little timeline and everything like that. And, you know, it was really, really great. But for the love of God. Oh, wait. Is this, okay. Wait a minute. The year that was. Are they going to? I'm on their website. Okay. Trying desperately to get this. There you go. Oh, my God. I figured it out. Okay, cool. All right. So.
Perfect.
We can use this instead because the ABC News one was very, very shitty. So let's start off 2024 year in review. I like this timeline because it encapsulates a whole bunch of different stuff. And so
I was looking back a little bit briefly, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot, so and so died, or like,
right?
That's yeah.
So January 8th, 2024, Coach Jim Harbaugh led Michigan to defeat Washington to win the college football championship. So you got that, and then February 4th of this year, Taylor Swift won.
She's dead?
No, she won her fourth Grammy for the album for album of the year for Midnights. She went on to do the Eras tour, which grossed around $2 billion by its final show in December. So good for Taylor Swift there. I don't know who that is. March 3rd, 2024, Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer in NCAA basketball and ended up getting drafted and going to the Indiana Fever of the WNBA. And according to this, her dominance helps women's basketball surge in popularity.
Yes, she got as much as 25 people to watch the WNBA.
I was going to say, we went from 10 to 25 or so. That was a surge. March 8th of 2024, the FDA expanded the approval of Wegovy to include heart disease, making it the first weight loss drug to be approved for reducing the risk of cardiovascular events in adults who have cardiovascular disease and are either obese or overweight. So I guess Wegovy can also help with your heart, according to the FDA. March 10th of 2024, Oppenheimer won big at the Academy Awards, receiving 7 Oscars, including for Best Picture. Did you see Oppenheimer?
I don't think I saw it in its entirety. I think I caught some, parts of it.
I still haven't either. It was real big that one weekend. It was the Barbie Oppenheimer or Barbenheimer or
I remember.
Yeah, whatever. And I haven't seen either one. I started Barbie and I fell asleep. I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
I fell asleep.
Yeah, it never really interests me.
You know how that goes. It was not my choice to watch Barbie. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I've heard it's good, but
I have too. But I don't care.
Not my thing.
No.
Yeah.
So March 26th, The container ship Dali collides with Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge, causing it to collapse and kill 6 people. So, we had the Baltimore Bridge collapse. April 8th of 2024, we had the total solar eclipse across parts of Mexico, the United States, and Canada. And it was North America's second total eclipse in 7 years, which, I remember the eclipse. I remember all the fervor for it. But, it's kind of one of those like, man, that was this year, wasn't it?
I kind of had the same feelings about the eclipse as I had the Barbie movie. Just, not for me.
I mean, I went out. I looked through you do the paper fold, and you look at that, and it's like, oh, there you go. So, April 13th, you got some war in the Middle East stuff going on. Apparently Madonna was big in Brazil in April. April 15th of 2024 was the 150th anniversary of Impressionism. Artists Claude Monet and Paul Cézanne staged the first Impressionist exhibit in 1874. So, you got that going on. Let's skip ahead. More skipping ahead. May 30th, 2024, Donald Trump was convicted, found guilty on 34 felony counts. So you got that going on. But we'll circle
how it started.
I would say we'll circle back to him in a little bit.
Yeah.
But June 5th, 2024, Boeing Starliner is launched, and it docks to the International Space Station the next day. However, because of equipment issues, NASA later decides it's unsafe for astronauts to return on the spacecraft. So you got astronauts stuck in space. Then June 17th, the Dallas Mavericks win their record-setting 18th NBA title. I'm not a big NBA guy, and I think it's because St. Louis really during my lifetime, we haven't had the NBA in St. Louis. So it's not like, it's just not something I grew up with.
Yeah, I've never really been into basketball myself.
I mean, there was that one period of time in the 90s that every kid was into Michael Jordan. But, other than that, it's kind of like,
true,
whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to keep my cigar going. It started going out. June 25th, 2024. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange pleads guilty to U.S. charges of illegally obtaining and disclosing national security information. He is freed from British prison and allowed to return to Australia, his home country. So Julian Assange finally went home. June 25th, 2024, China's lunar probe, the Chang'e 6, returns to Earth carrying the first samples from the far side of the moon. June 27th, 2024 was a big day because that's the day that Joe Biden and Donald Trump faced off in their first presidential debate. And Biden...
That was some quality television.
His disastrous performance played a key role in his decision to drop out of the race in July. Then in June 29th, India defeats South Africa to win its second ICC T20 World Cup, one of the most prestigious events in cricket.
Oh,
so,
okay.
You got some cricket. Skipping ahead. July 13th, 2024, Donald Trump is injured by a gunman after surviving an assassination attempt in a campaign event in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that was one of the bigger headlines from the year, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my cigar has gone out, so I'll wait until after this year in review for this. July 26, 2024, the Olympic Games began in Paris, and I don't know about you, but I did not care.
Nope, not at all.
That was one of those things that just kind of passed by. August 6, 2024, Kamala Harris is officially certified as the Democratic presidential candidate. And according to this, becoming the first black woman and first Asian American in U.S. history to win the presidential nomination of a major party. I would argue that she did not win. She was just gifted. But that's neither here nor there.
I would call that a good old-fashioned coup, where I come from. a good old-fashioned coup.
It's a coup. Then September 26th, skipping ahead to September 26th, Hurricane Helene makes landfall in Florida, causing widespread destruction and more than 230 deaths across the region, especially in western North Carolina. Some estimates put the cost at $200 billion, which would make it the costliest hurricane in U.S. history. Then we get to October 1st, where Claudia Sheinbaum, I'm probably mispronouncing her name, is sworn in as Mexico's first female president and the first Jewish person to hold the post.
I was going to say, it doesn't sound very Mexican.
Nope, it doesn't. Also on October 1st, and this is going to become relevant later, former President Jimmy Carter celebrated his 100th birthday, and we'll circle back to him in a bit. On October 13th of 2024, SpaceX launched Starship. In an unprecedented move, large metal pincers known as chopsticks catch the spacecraft 233-foot rocket booster on its descent. So they caught it in the air, and it landed that way. Then, well, you know what? I'm going to skip that one because that's a death, and quite frankly, I don't want to do that. November 5th, 2024, Donald Trump wins the U.S. presidential election, defeating Kamala Harris. And according to Britannica, he is the first convicted felon to be elected to the office and the second president to win a non-consecutive second term. I would argue that he is the first convicted, but not the first felon to be elected to the office. That's neither here nor there. Well,
it was a very glorious day in American history.
Implications. Okay, November 12th, 2024, Archbishop of Canterbury Justin Welby resigns amid criticism of his handling of child abuse allegations within the Church of England. Then November 18th, Spirit Airlines files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and it becomes the first major U.S. airline to do so since American Airlines 13 years earlier. November 19th, 2024, the world marks 1,000 days since Russia's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine, and at least 30,000 Ukrainians have been killed in action, and more than 700,000 Russian troops have been killed or wounded in combat. So when you take those numbers into account, I mean, it sucks that 30,000 Ukrainians got killed, but man, they're kicking ass and taking names over there. If it's 30,000 to 700,000.
It sounds like they're winning?
It sounds that way. So, November 26, 2024, Joe Biden announces a ceasefire deal meant to end hostilities between Hezbollah and Israel. And then it goes from there. And then the last thing on this list is December 8th, 2024. And after 13 years of civil war in Syria, Bashar al-Assad is ousted as the country's leader. And, goes from there. So I don't know. This list doesn't go past December 8th. So any news that took place after December 8th, didn't make that list. But I think also there are a few other news stories that I feel are relevant to bring up. For example, you have Jennifer and James Crumbly, the parents of Michigan high school shooter Ethan Crumbly, were sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison in April after each was found guilty of 4 counts of voluntary manslaughter in separate trials. The trials were a rare case of parents facing criminal charges over their role in a shooting carried out by their child. He was 15 at the time of the 2021 shooting. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole for killing 4 students at the Oxford High School. And prosecutors said that the parents ignored several warning signs in the days leading up to the shooting and also bought their son the gun that was used in the shooting and failed to secure the weapon and limit their son's access to it. So, I think that's a good thing. I think parents need to be held responsible for the actions of their kids in some cases.
Yeah, I think it's a dangerous precedent, but in a case by case instance, I think they're probably definitely guilty.
I was gonna say I think you have to take it at a case by case, but I'm not against it. I'm not against it. You had 5 people charged in Matthew Perry's ketamine death. So there's that. They're facing quite a bit of time in jail from what
Did
it
he
says.
die? Did Matthew Perry die 2024, or was that the year before?
Boy, that's a good question here. Let me see if it states it. I don't think he was on the list of people that I saw that died this year. So I'm thinking it might have been 23. So the other hurricane that obviously hit the United States, the Britannica mentioned Hurricane Helene, but it did not mention Hurricane Milton that hit on October 9th and made landfall in Florida as a Category 3 storm, bringing tornadoes, powerful winds, and flooding rains, and killed 23 people in Florida. So, Florida got hit pretty hard between Helene and Milton this year.
Yeah, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia.
Yeah.
It was rough.
It was bad. And then the other story that Britannica, I don't want to say conveniently, but left off, was music mogul Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in New York City in September and charged with sex trafficking by force, transportation to engage in prostitution, and a racketeering conspiracy. Prosecutors allege that he ran an enterprise that he engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, or kidnapping, arson, and other crimes. I haven't heard about the arson. Combs is accused of using violence, threats, and coercion to force women to engage in sex acts with male prostitutes, sometimes lasting days and often recorded. Combs allegedly called the activity freak-offs, and federal prosecutors said Combs abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. He's pleaded not guilty, and his trial is set for May of 2025. He is also facing numerous civil lawsuits with claims mirroring the criminal allegations.
So the arsons, that baby oil must be flammable.
Oh, that could be.
I read that dude, that Luigi dude.
Well, that was the next article I was going to talk about. So yeah,
he is in the same prison area as Sean Combs.
I did hear that.
And they're lawyers, so they have like one male. I don't know who's got who, but it's a married couple. So like the wife is representing one of those guys.
The woman has Luigi.
Okay, so then her husband's got Sean Combs then.
So they're just sitting back, just right in the eye of the storm at this point.
Yeah, they are.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, speaking of Luigi, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was gunned down outside of a Midtown Manhattan hotel on December 4th while he was on his way to an investors conference. His murder ignited online anger at the health insurance industry, and some people online celebrated the suspect. This slaying also sparked a massive manhunt for the masked gunman, with the NYPD releasing images of the suspect found via surveillance cameras. And on December 9th, Luigi Mangione was arrested after he was spotted at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. The ghost gun, as allegedly in his possession when he was arrested, was matched to 3 shell casings recovered at the scene of the murder. Fingerprints recovered from a water bottle and a Kind bar near the crime scene were also linked to him. He's a 26-year-old Ivy League graduate, and he allegedly had a spiral notebook detailing plans about how to eventually kill the CEO, according to law enforcement officials. One passage allegedly said, "What do? You whack the CEO at the annual Parasitic Bean Counter Convention." He's in custody in New York City, where he's facing state and federal charges. The federal charges do make him eligible for the death penalty. So that's a little bit of a recap of news from 2024.
Yeah, it was a pretty busy year. I'm trying to think of anything else. You got the dude in the Trump golf course trying to whack him out. You got drones around the latest thing with all those drones in Jersey.
Yeah, in Jersey. I have not kept up on that.
No, not really. I was interested for like 2 days, and then it just went on too long.
I know. I don't know. Sorry, I'm getting my cigar going again. I kind of feel like if our government knew that it was like a foreign agent, that they would have knocked it out of the sky by now. And so I kind of
that's kind of where I'm at
kind of
too.
I kind of
It
assume
took them a long. It took them a long time to do the Chinese spy balloons. So, but
that's
yeah,
true.
I'm kind of at the same place. I think.
I also kind of feel like at this point, probably about half or probably more of the videos that are out there are probably just misidentified airplanes.
Yeah, everybody's just going crazy now. Everything that's in the air is a drone in that area, I'm sure.
And I would probably say that any of the unidentified, like really weird unidentified ones, look, it is feasible that the United States government has drone technology that they haven't talked about yet. And so maybe, just maybe, there's some new shit flying around in the sky that we don't know about. And maybe that's what it is.
I'm thinking if I had to make a prediction, I would say that it is our own government trying to covertly pick up or retrace something they left behind that wasn't supposed to be there. Like they were on a mission to find some, nuclear warheads or whatever it might be that,
Yeah.
I don't know, something they didn't want us to find out that they went missing.
Well, it's not good for the fine people of New Jersey, but hopefully it goes away soon. So,
if this would have happened in like 1999, early 2000s, they would have made it into a Sopranos episode.
Exactly. Fucking Paulie Walnuts be like, "What is this shit in the sky?"
Yeah. For sure.
For sure. Okay, so here's what I think we ought to do. Where did I have that list? I think right now, let's go over our death predictions that we made in 2020 well, I guess that would have been late 23 for 24. Okay.
So,
and then
our predictions this time last year.
Yes, these are our predictions this time last year, and then from there we can go over who passed this year, and then we can do our predictions for next year.
Perfect.
Okay, so we both had Jimmy Carter and Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, and we were talking before we recorded, like when we recorded this last year, we were literally making jokes that like, well, Jimmy Carter might not make it through this episode or the rest of the year.
Exactly.
And now it's a fucking year later, and I'm not wishing death on this guy, but
no, but at the same time,
he's been in hospice for like 2 years.
Yeah.
He has brain cancer. I don't know if you saw him.
Yeah, he looks like a vegetable at this point. So, like, truthfully, the sweet embrace of death might be a mercy for him at this point.
Because the last I saw him was around the election, like a little before the election, and they wheeled him out there and say he voted for Kamala, which, again, I'm not saying he wouldn't vote for Kamala, but you can't tell me that man could have voted for anybody. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, he's completely, like, non-responsive.
Meanwhile, Dick Van Dyke, I've seen footage of him. I mean, he's going strong at, 99?
Yeah. So Carter, brain cancer, fucking hospice 2 years, still alive somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
It must be fucking peanuts. I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah, Dick Van Dyke, he, or as I like to call him, Penis Von Lesbian.
Okay.
He's still going strong, and he has like a wife that is like absurdly younger than him. I want to say she's in like her early 60s or something.
Okay.
So that might be the key there for his youthfulness.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, next up, I had Gene Hackman, and you had Clint Eastwood. They're both still with us.
Mm-hmm.
I had Tim Curry, and you had Mel Brooks. They're both still with us. I had Bruce Willis, and here we go. The first time one of us got one right. You had Bob Newhart.
And he did in fact, yes.
You did get Bob Newhart correct.
What was he, like 96 or something like that?
I don't remember. I probably should have looked up how old he was when he passed, but he did pass in 2024. Next, I had Bill Cosby, and you had Keith Richards. They're both still with us. I had Ozzy Osbourne, and you had President Joe Biden.
And I mean, he sort of like his political career died.
That's true.
That's like a half a point.
It did. I had Liza Minnelli. You had Michael Douglas. They're both still with us.
Still alive.
I had Michael J. Fox, and you had, oh, God, I always butcher this, Dominic Chianese?
Chianese, Uncle Junior.
Uncle Junior from The Sopranos.
Mm-hmm.
Still with us. I had Ric Flair. You had Mick Jagger. I had Dustin Hoffman. You had Harrison Ford. And then from there, it kind of gets a little bit. So you had both William Shatner and George Takei.
I just really wanted to murder off Star Trek alumni, I guess.
You evidently did. I had Jim Lovell, a real astronaut, and you had Elton John. I had Dick Vitale, and you had Ron Perlman. That was your wild card, as I recall.
Yeah, that was a stretch.
That was a stretch.
Looking back. Yeah.
I had, trust me, I have the bigger one. I had Camilla Parker Bowles, and you had Robert Duvall. And I had Joe Exotic. You had Christopher Walken. And then we end up with my big wild card, which was Britney Spears.
Now, she, in your defense, she did lose her fucking mind this year.
100%.
Did you see these videos? Like she was saying she was a Mexican child or something.
No.
Adopted. She's her Instagram is a good follow.
No, I can't say as I've seen that. That's where I did see the video of her dancing with the knives.
Yeah.
And I believe that's why I put her on the list, because I was thinking like, man, she's going to be dancing with knives one day, slip and fall, and just like take herself out.
Yeah, she's that was a bold prediction. I see where your head was at. But, she is crazy. You can never tell with crazy people.
Didn't quite work out that way. So, all right. Well, let's go over the list. So I guess final tally, you had one, and I had none.
We did not do so hot.
We did not.
But you know, such is life.
But there were some really solid picks on that list, though.
Yeah, and a lot of those, not to get ahead of ourselves, probably will carry over, I'm guessing.
I have a few. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead now and start looking at the list of who did pass away in 2024. And
there was a lot. There was a lot this year. Not necessarily from our list, but there was a lot. I feel a lot of fairly big names died this year.
For sure. Like who's this? So you have USA Today keeps wanting to get me to disable my ad blocker, and I'm not gonna do that. Oh God, is it gonna like put that up on everything? Okay, good. No. So there's a lot of people I don't necessarily recognize by name, but I am going to say Charles Osgood. He was the host of CBS News Sunday Morning. He died at age 91, and that would have been January 22nd of this year. So I know a lot of people that watch that CBS Sunday Morning, so I think that's one worth noting. Now, I sent you this link, so if there's anybody that I'm skipping past that you think we need to highlight, you say so.
Okay. And
then on January 31st of 2024, Carl Weathers passed away.
See, oh man,
yeah.
It seems like he's been gone longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a big blow.
I'm
a big Apollo Creed, big Predator fan.
Yeah. But no, that was only January of this year.
Yeah.
And then that was followed up on February 4th by Toby Keith.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you had Toby Keith, the country music musician. Then on February 26th, we had Richard Lewis, comedian and actor Richard Lewis.
Yeah, and that was fucked up because he was in the newest season of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And he like died during like the filming. So he was like, because they were, he was alive while they were filming, obviously, but then they I don't know, it was really kind of creepy because like they were talking about, he and Larry David were talking about, on the show, which one of them was going to die first, and the will and stuff, and he died like right after they finished filming.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
So weird. Senator Joe Lieberman passed away on March 26, 2024. So you got Joe Lieberman, who, while he always said he was an independent, he always tended to go along with the Democrats. So, for what it's worth. On April 9th, 2024, O.J. Simpson finally caught the real killer. And
yes, justice,
justice was served. So,
and he was reunited with Nicole, I think.
Was he?
No, probably not.
Probably not. I would say probably not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she went to hell, but I'm gonna guess probably not. I mean, maybe she did. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know her, but Dickie Betts.
I'm gonna go back. So I just watched. This made me think of this. I just watched this interview. I forget who it was, but they were interviewing Jay Leno.
Yeah,
I think I saw this on Instagram or something, and he said he was at the screening of Jurassic Park with a couple people, and O.J. Simpson and Nicole Simpson were in the front row ahead of him.
Yeah,
and he ended up. This was 2 days before the murder.
Oh shit.
So he saw them in this theater, and then 2 days later, he murdered her. So it made me think in my fucked up brain, was like, did something happen during that movie that caused it? Like, did they argue about if dinosaurs were real or something? And he's like, this is the fucking last straw.
Fuck, the bitch bought Red Vines, and I specifically asked for Twizzlers,
Yeah. Something like.
Who knows?
I mean, that would just be a haunting thing to see, I would think.
I would think so. It'd be weird.
Yeah.
It would be weird.
Yeah.
Although, I kind of have a slightly similar-ish, not quite, kind of similar-ish story. So, around in St. Louis, there's a law firm, Brown & Brown. And they were famous locally because they did all these TV commercials where the one brother wore an eye patch. And he talked about it, and he said, you might be wondering why I wear an eye patch. I had an accident as a child. And you're like, what the fuck is the story there? But he never said. So you never knew what the story was. You just knew this dude had an eye patch. And he was known as the eye patch lawyer. So I'm sitting over at the Hill Cigar Company one day, back in the lounge and hanging out. And there's 3 of us back there. And I'm having a cigar. Well, this dude comes back, and he's talking to us about the lounge and the shop and everything. We're telling him about it, and he's telling us that he normally smokes at the Ritz-Carlton, but they're renovating it, and he's looking for somewhere to go. And he asked how much it costs to use the lounge space, and we said, dude, it's free. Just buy a cigar. And he's like, oh, shit. And so he's like, yeah, I'll come back. I'll smoke with you guys. And we're like, you look really familiar. And he's like, yeah, I'm blah, 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 Brown. And we're like, oh, fuck, the eye patch. And so, and the thing was, he was wearing the eye patch, but for whatever reason, you know how it is when you see somebody and they're not in the environment you expect to see them in. It, takes your brain a minute.
Like a baseball player out of their uniform.
Right, exactly. Well, in this case, this was the dude. He was just in, a shirt and a jacket and some jeans, and it's and he had glasses on, which obviously, one side he wasn't using, but whatever. Anyway, so we're like, oh shit, yeah, come back. 10 days later, he took a header out of his office window, dropped 11 stories, and died at his office building. Committed suicide, and we're like, what the fuck? Well, it turns out the law firm put out a statement saying that he got a diagnosis that was really bad, and he didn't want to put his family through it. And that's been the official thing. However, I will say there was another employee who did the exact same thing, a year or two later. And so now, like, they don't even let people out, like, out of, like, they have the windows all, like, shut up. You can't even get out there.
Yeah, dude. That's a
Right?
good story.
So, yeah. So, like, you know,
So
I mean.
you're thinking, did I fucking say something to him?
Well, yeah, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like,
I...
fuck, man, you could have come back and had a cigar with us, but instead you decided to fucking take a header out the window. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know.
shit.
I mean, but yeah, so there's that.
Fair enough.
Well, continuing on April 17th, Dickie Betts of the Allman Brothers Band, he guitarist of the Allman Brothers Band, he passed away. Who else have we got here? We got, oh man, there's all these people that I don't recognize their names, and so like I just don't know who they are. We have a football player, Jim Otto. He passed away on May 18th of 2024. Morgan Spurlock passed away on May 22nd, 2024. And that's the Super Size Me guy.
Yeah, was it? He ate nothing but McDonald's for a month or something, right?
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, I think that movie or that documentary or whatever you want to call it has been kind of like dismissed somewhat because, like, apparently Morgan Spurlock had a really bad drinking problem, and I think that caused a lot of his health issues, and ultimately I think it's what killed him.
Well, yeah.
So,
I mean, both can be true at the same time.
Exactly.
He got the McDonald's probably was not good for him, but neither was the drinking.
So, then we have a couple of NBA guys. We got Bill Walton passed away on May 26th, and Jerry West followed up on June 11th. Now, Jerry West, he is the guy whose silhouette is used in the NBA logo.
Yes.
So, you got that. Willie Mays passed away on June 17th.
Remember that, to say, hey, kid.
Yep. And he was followed up on June 19th by Donald Sutherland. So, you know. I like Donald Sutherland. I liked him in a lot of stuff that he did. He was in MASH, and I really liked him in that. He was in all kinds of shit. I never saw the Hunger Game movies, so I don't really know much about that. But yeah, he passed away. Martin Mull passed away on June 26th, another actor there. Who else do we got? Dr. Ruth Westheimer. She passed away July 12th. I thought Dr. Ruth had already passed.
Yeah, she's one of those ones that kind of feel like she should have died a long time ago.
Shannon Doherty of Beverly Hills 90210 and Charmed passed away on July 12th. I feel like that was one that people were kind of like expecting. I think she had cancer, and it was kind of one of those things. Richard Simmons also died on July 12th at age 76. That one kind of came out of nowhere, although I had listened to a podcast. No, I don't remember if it wasn't in 2024. I feel like it was maybe 2023. My lighter does not want to go. Come on, you bastard. There we go. 2023. It was called like Finding Richard Simmons, and basically it talked about how he became like a recluse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he had like a caregiver or something. He didn't leave his house.
Yeah, he just kind of like got out of the public eye, and that was that. You know, he was done. Oh. Anyway, so Richard Simmons in July, followed up by Lou Dobbs on July 17th. So you got another news guy there, and then on July 17th as well. That's when you got lucky and got your 1 point, and that's when Bob Newhart passed away. Wasn't lucky for Bob Newhart, but it was lucky for you. You got a point there. So, then a month later, on August 17th, Phil Donahue passed away.
He was another one that feel like
I know, right?
Years ago.
He just like was out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, look, Phil Donahue, son of a bitch. James Earl Jones on September 8th.
That was a big one.
That was a big one. That was indeed a big one. September 14th, Tito Jackson. So, another Jackson. Nothing to say about Tito Jackson, huh?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I can't think of anything
Yeah.
positive nor negative.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
September 26th, we had Maggie Smith. She was in a lot of shit. Like, you look and, like, it's like, yeah, no, you know what? She was in a lot of stuff.
Accomplished
actress. September 27th is when Chris Christopherson left us.
Blade. He was in Blade.
Oh, yeah, he was in Blade. He was in a lot. Well, dude, he was in The Highwaymen with, Johnny Cash and
He was a singer.
well, that's what I'm saying. He was in The Highwaymen with Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson, and who was the third guy? Fuck. Oh, now I gotta look that up. I can't let that one go.
Well, I almost had it. No, nothing.
It was Waylon Jennings.
Waylon
Jennings. So yeah, I mean, he was a big deal in the country music scene. So yeah, Chris Christopherson on September 27th. Then on September 29th, Pete Rose passed away.
All-time hits leader.
Yeah.
Never in the Hall of Fame.
When do you think that gets changed?
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't. Fuck. I could go either way on that one. I mean, yeah, it could be as early as next year or never. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like the MLB at some point is going to make that right, but I don't know.
It seems like if you were gonna make it right, why don't you do it when he was alive? You know what I mean?
Just to prove the point, just to fucking have the spite and prove the point, and just kind of let it go. I think that's really what it is. And then and they just I think that's really it. I think they're just gonna prove the point, make it a thing. But then on October 10th, Ethel Kennedy passed away. So, there's another Kennedy. October 15th, Liam Payne passed away. And depending on what you listen to, he may have been pushed out the window for talking about Diddy. So, I mean, I don't know.
I did listen to an interview that he did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes you think.
Mm-hmm. Diddy's got fucking people everywhere, man. You gotta watch that shit. I mean, you and I are talking about Diddy. So.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true.
And then we got Terry Garr on October 28th. And I liked Terry Garr.
Yeah.
She was in what? Young Frankenstein. Yeah. So
yeah, she used to be pretty good looking.
That's what I'm saying.
In her day.
Oh, dude, Young Frankenstein. She was pretty good looking in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
November 2nd, Quincy Jones passed away.
Yeah, he was another one that I could have sworn was dead, but
well, he is now. And then November 5th, the Candyman passed on. Tony Todd. He passed away. And then on December 19th, Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson, all-time stolen base leader.
Yeah, that one kind of came out. He was only 65.
I was gonna say he was pretty young. Yeah,
I feel like that one kind of came out of nowhere.
He was from our time. Yeah, 90s, late 80s.
Yeah, so I feel like that definitely was a bit of a surprise.
Unexpected.
Yeah. Now let's go real quick to Wikipedia, because they keep a running list. Now, their list, though, I don't use their list because their list is, like, stupid. It's like everybody. So, like, you have...
Yeah, everybody's a celebrity.
You have some really, like, deep dives on this list. And so, I'm going on...
I remember last year, like, we went down this, like, soap opera fucking wormhole, because, like, so many soap opera... It's like... It doesn't even count as a celebrity.
Yeah. So, like, I'm kind of doing my best to screen a little bit here. So I'm just kind of going back a little ways on the December list on Wikipedia to see if anybody since Ricky Henderson of note has passed. I mean, there's a whole lot of people that they list, but like for example, here we have.
I don't think I've given you a hey since Ricky Henderson anyway.
No, I don't think so. So yeah, it's been a minute. But like Carol Crawford, she was a Jamaican model and beauty queen, Miss World. She died December 18th. But I mean that just to give you an idea, that's kind of exactly what I'm saying. Like that's the level of deep dive that Wikipedia does. So like I mean it's hardcore.
If your next question is who is that, that's not worthy.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously their life had value and all that.
I mean,
I'm saying that's
a
celebrity.
Course. Yeah.
I mean,
Gaboro.
Who?
Gaboro died December 19th, 23 years old. He was a Swedish rapper.
Oh.
And they were shot. So, yeah. So I mean, the Swedes over there, man, they're gunning down their rappers.
I guess so.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio Sr. passed away on December 20th as a Mexican professional wrestler.
Yeah, I'm only familiar with the junior.
Same. And that was actually the same day as Ricky Henderson, so I went back too far. Let's keep going here. Let's see. I mean, like I said, some of this, man, it's like, I don't know who any of these people are. And I don't mean to, like, shit on their life and legacy, but, it's not somebody that I know and that I feel everybody's going to know to be able to make mention of. A lot of foreign names and stuff, which I guess that makes sense. We're not the center of the universe in the United States, but whatever. Member of the George Patek. He was a member of the Wisconsin Senate.
Oh, I should know that, I guess, right?
He died of cancer. Curtis Cheek, 66-year-old American bridge player, died on Christmas Eve.
That's such a thing to be like a professional bridge player?
Apparently it is a thing to be a professional bridge player. I didn't know that, but apparently it is.
I tell you what, I will be entering a skip-bow tournament.
Skip-bow. I was at a shop recently and I saw a Saved by the Bell version of Uno. So,
really?
You could maybe get into that. That might be a nice...
coincidentally, I was doing some Christmas shopping last week or whatever. And I went to this game store and there's like 6 different versions of Uno. There's literally one called Dos, for Christ's sake.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like they have sequels now to Uno.
Oh, God. Okay. So that's who died. Let's talk about the cigar for a moment.
Yeah.
Admittedly,
I was going to bring that up.
Admittedly, I'm not having a great time with it, but that's on me because I'm talking so much, and it's not staying lit for me. That's my problem. So,
I'm talking a lot less. So
you talk about the cigar.
I'd say I'm more than halfway through, and the sweetness of broadleaf they had in the filler.
They had the Pennsylvania and Nicaraguan. I don't remember if it's specified broadleaf, but they have USA Pennsylvania in there.
Yeah, because a little sweetness, I'm thinking that's from that. And then the pepper is a little more intense on the nose.
Okay.
So just kind of continuation of those initial flavors, the earth and the leather, and then there's a little sweetness that picked up about halfway through, and then that pepper amped up a little bit.
Okay.
So, but it's pretty smooth. I can't remember. Are you a box press guy, or
No,
you prefer round?
I am definitely a round smoker. So this is definitely.
Is it a mouthfeel thing?
It is
for
a
you?
mouthfeel thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really. I guess I don't really have preference one way or the other.
It's definitely a mouthfeel thing for me. It's just off. It's not. I've gotten better about it, but it's still. If you give me a box press version or a round version, I'm going to take the round version every time. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, it's this cigar is not too dramatic of a box press. It's almost like a soft box press.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not sharp edges or anything like that. But
No,
it's not bad. I mean, look, it's the Crow. If you smoked the Crow in the round, you're getting a box fresh version of it. It's I don't really detect too terribly much different between it. But it's not bad. And it won't roll off a table.
That is true.
I hate it when people say that. When I bitch about box press, they're like, "It won't roll off a table." I'm like, "Why are you putting your cigar down on a table to where it could possibly roll off?" Like I don't know if I've ever had that as an issue.
That's why God invented ashtrays.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I have ashtrays all over the freaking place. But anyway, all right. Well, dude, it is time. It is that time. It is that
the moment of truth.
That big deal moment when you and I are going to unveil our lists, our predictions of 2025. And I want to put the caveat out there that we are recording this with 5 days left to 2024. So I would say that what we are actually predicting is who will pass away from the moment this episode releases until the next year when we do another one of these. So
you're just kind of hedging your bet.
I'm hedging my bet, and I'm encompassing the last
certain peanut farmer out there.
Bingo. Yeah. I'm hedging my bet that sometime in 2024, possibly in the last 4 days of 2024, we might lose a peanut farmer. And if that's the case, then I want to make sure I'm on record for that. So now you and I...
I'm telling you right now, if we record the same podcast a year from now and that son of a bitch is still alive, like...
something weird's going on.
They need to harvest his DNA or something.
Exactly. We need to study this. Something weird is going on. So, okay. So, yes, let's start off by saying that. The second thing we need to start off by saying is both Jimmy Carter and Dick Van Dyke are group picks. We both agreed that we're not going to put them on our list because they are
obvious,
way too obvious. So at this point, both of them are group picks. If either one of them passes, the point goes to us both and we move on with life. So anyway, predictions for 20... What?
And we should also caveat, we don't want any of these people to die. It's just, it's just...
Yeah, nobody on my list. Nobody on my list I want to pass away. Okay. I wanted to look. I wanted to make sure because you know what?
Did you have like Jake Paul on there? Or
well, you know what? I do have one guy on here that truthfully, I don't think I would shed a tear if he passed away. So
I think I have an idea who's on there.
I do think there's one guy that I think I'm going to say you know what? If he passes, I don't think the world is going to mourn. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are some people that will.
Maybe if you really like pudding pops. Maybe.
Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and start it and say Bill Cosby
okay.
At 80,
I'll tell you what,
87 years old.
Let me take a swig of my spiked eggnog and let me pull up my list. And we'll go from 10. You want to go 10? Like, are we doing descending?
I don't have them ranked. So, like, realistically, I know you ranked yours. So, like, you can do it however. You actually picked... That was actually the second guy on my list. I just kind of like put him down on the list. So I don't really have them ranked. I just kind of have them out there. But if you want to rank them, then whatever. Yeah, we can say Bill Cosby.
Yeah, I have a tendency to rank things. I may have a touch of the autism.
That's okay. That's fair. That's fair. So okay. Starting off, I guess we'll kick it off with that. Yes, I have Bill Cosby on my list, and that's the one that I don't think. He's an interesting guy in that, like, I do think it's a discussion that's worth having in that, like, he was a fucking slimy asshole, roofing women and having sex with them and just being a generalized dirtbag. But on the flip side of that, he did kind of promote, black culture. He did so on a major stage in the 1980s, 70s and 80s and everything. I do think he was a positive figure in some ways.
Now, to me,
in other ways, not so much.
To me, that just makes the all the rape shit even creepier. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, Dr. Huxtable, you shouldn't be doing that.
Well, no, and that's fair, and I think that's a perfectly fair thing to criticize. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he did some good shit, but he also roofied women, and I don't think we can. I
Yeah,
have trouble overlooking that in order to
yeah.
appreciate the good.
That's like saying, Hitler was a fairly good painter. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Yeah.
but
It's,
see,
yeah,
I don't know if he was. I think that's part of the problem.
we'll never know, I guess.
What
But yeah,
what could have happened in this world if somebody just would have said, Hitler, I like that painting.
yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
okay.
a butterfly effect.
Early years.
Hmm.
Okay.
All right, so my number 10 is going to be legendary boxing promoter Don King, still with us.
Oh, good pick.
95, I want to say. 95 years old.
Okay. All right. Good pick.
Early to midnight, anywhere between 93 to 95, I think he is.
Good pick. But he's still going strong. He's promoting shit up in Canada and whatnot, isn't he?
He's got a couple low-level fighters, but nothing to anything major.
Dude, he's in his 90s. I think at this point, just doing anything at this point is worth noting.
Well, one of the top boxing promoters is a compadre of his, Bob Arum, who almost made my list, and he's the same age. He's the same age as Don King, and he's the head of Top Rank, one of the best boxing promoters. So he's still going strong.
Okay.
But I think Don King's a little longer in the tooth. I think he lived a harder life. He was, in prison and
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my next one up is Ted Turner. He's 86 and apparently not in good health. And
what does he have? Is it the cancer?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I believe actually. Hang on. I should have made notes about some of these guys, and so I think it's going to be one of these situations where
to the Googles.
I'm going to be going to the Googles a lot. He has Lewy body dementia.
Oh, that's a tough type of dementia.
Yeah, he was diagnosed. He publicly disclosed his diagnosis in 2018 and began exhibiting symptoms in his early 70s. So,
I'm surprised he lasted this long.
I was going to say 86.
I did memory care. I worked in a memory care facility for over a decade, and Lewy body dementia is one of the most crippling kinds of dementias. And for him to already have been doing a decade or more of that, so that's a good pick.
Yeah. So yeah, Ted Turner was my pick there.
I would have guessed Ted Turner was older than he was. I would have guessed he was in his 90s, but
I think it's that gray hair. I think it's one of those things. I think he had gray hair back when. See, my experience with Ted Turner, where Ted Turner entered my life, and I know him from, would have been the 90s during the whole wrestling wars and everything when I was in high school and I was watching pro wrestling, and so he had WCW and and all that.
Yeah,
so that's kind of my experience. But then you got to realize, fuck, that was 30 years ago. So it's okay.
Yeah, both solid points.
Yeah,
he's one of those guys that always looked old, so he seems older.
Exactly, but
that's fair.
Yep.
That's fair.
Yep. So.
All right, let's see. I got next up Robert Redford.
Oh, good pick, and actually one that I was thinking about, but I did not go with.
Yeah, he's for the people on this list, he's relatively one of the younger ones. I say younger in quotes because I want to say he's 88 or something.
Yeah,
but you haven't heard much from him in the last
at all
a number of years.
No.
So that makes me think that
he's living out his life.
I don't know if you ever saw this movie he did with James Gandolfini. And it was called something like The Last Castle.
The Last Castle, yes, in the prison movie.
Yeah,
where Gandolfini was the warden or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good movie.
And Robert Redford looked old as fuck then, and that
was
2005 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So,
but he looked very weathered. Very weathered.
Weathered would be a good word.
Yeah. But no, that was a good movie. I liked that movie. Fuck, I haven't thought about that movie in a while.
Underrated.
Very much so.
No.
Okay, so my next one, I believe it's carryover from last year. I have Bruce Willis.
Okay, he'll make an appearance on mine. Yeah, that's
Okay, so that's a mutual.
So yeah, it's just he's young. Like, what is he, like 65,
69.
Okay, and it's just the dementia he's got just has gotten really worse. I read something recently. Like, I think his communication is very limited now.
Yeah,
He's almost nonverbal.
I was just about to say I think he's nonverbal at this point.
Yeah, so that's not a good sign.
No. So
yeah, based on how fast it's progressing, the dementia. So
yeah,
that's a sad one. I just watched Die Hard a little bit ago too.
I mean, you have to. It's a Christmas movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Technically, here's a hot take.
Okay.
I would call Die Hard not a Christmas movie, but ready for this?
Okay.
An Advent movie.
Mm.
Because it's not actually taking place on Christmas. It's like building up to Christmas, right?
Okay.
So it's not actually on Christmas Day as much as.
So then, all right. Would you consider Die Hard 2 a Christmas movie? More of a Christmas movie?
Was that on Christmas Day?
I feel like that was a little I feel like that took place like right after Die Hard.
I mean, possibly. I'm not as familiar with Die Hard 2. I'd have to go rewatch it.
Okay. Okay.
So.
All right. So who's your next one?
My next one, I have another carryover from last year, Mel Brooks.
Good pick. And I thought about it. Oh, wait. No, I didn't think about it. He is on my list as well.
Okay.
All right.
So he's healthy and active, but he's what, 96, 97?
98, in fact.
98. Okay.
Yep.
So like that, I mean, yeah.
What was the bit he used to do? Was it the 1,000-Year-Old Man or?
Yeah.
Something like that. So like
he's coming up on that.
He's trying real hard to get to that.
Yeah. Life imitating art. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, 98 is 98, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's that's the thing. Time marches on for everybody. Did you watch The History of the World Part 2?
No, I did not.
I didn't either. That was his most recent thing, I believe, and I just kind of didn't care.
Yeah.
I think at the time I was interested in it, and then I didn't see it right away, and then as time went on, I was kind of like, I think I'm good.
Yeah. I didn't hear anything about it, which is usually not a good sign. So.
Yeah.
So,
So, okay. All right, so we both had Mel Brooks there. So, my next one, also a carryover from, I had a few carryovers from last year. I think I've got, 3 more that I had carryover from last year. My next one, Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, he's hanging on there. He feels like he's on borrowed time. Like from his lifestyle,
I mean, dude,
it's a miracle he's lasted.
He's one of the younger. In fact, I believe he's the third youngest on my list at 76. And, but God, he just looks so broken,
Yeah, I would use that weathered word again.
Yes, yeah. He ran real hard, and it's just not right. So, yeah, Ozzy Osbourne is my pick there.
I mean, if you went back a couple decades to like Ozzy Osbourne prime, you wouldn't think he'd have made it to 76 anyway.
No, not at all. Not at all. So
yeah,
Okay, so who's your next one up?
I got another carryover, Gene Hackman. So yeah, he's I want to say early 90s something, but he's looking pretty rough.
I also have Gene Hackman, so
yeah,
and
I'm not.
For the listeners, we do not compare our lists, by the way. We do these independent, and so that's why there's these carryovers, and crossovers. But yeah,
I don't think, to my knowledge, he has any like disease or anything. He looks.
He's 94, and he looks it.
Yeah, he looks every bit of it.
Yeah.
So
okay. Michael J. Fox.
Okay.
He's the youngest on my list at 63.
So he recently did a Netflix special. I don't know if you saw that
I did not.
about his Parkinson's.
Okay.
And so, he looked, rough, obviously, but he, didn't look like he was going to be dying anytime soon. But then I've heard him say in recent interviews that he doesn't think he's going to live more than another year or so.
Ooh, okay.
So I don't know.
Not that I
what
wish
to
it.
make of that.
I really
Yeah.
like Michael J. Fox. I feel really bad for him because he Parkinson struck him so early in his
Well,
life that like
it,
it really robbed him of a lot of career time, you know?
and it seems like Parkinson's like takes like the most charismatic people. Like Michael J. Fox was so charismatic,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the early '80s, late '80s, and fucking it just took all that away. And same with Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Just it's a shitty disease. I mean,
It
they
is.
all are. They all are at the end of the day. But yeah, it
Well,
seems to really target the charming ones. I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, and it brings up this question, and I've asked people this before, and it's one of those like, gun to your head, which do you choose? Do you want a disease that takes your mind, or do you want a disease that takes your body but leaves you a clear mind?
Yeah, and that's kind of
And it's like, fuck me. I just, I don't have a good
six
answer
in
to
one
that.
hand, six in one hand, half dozen in the other.
I don't.
You could
Yeah.
have both too.
God, if you're like just really just beaten by life. But yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know, man. Because it's like, how bad would that suck to be like trapped in a shell of a non-working body? But on the flip side, how bad would it suck to lose your mind?
Yeah, dude. Honestly, quite often they're related. So like we were talking about Lewy body dementia. As that progresses, you really can't control your body at all. Just shut down your body.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, like I said, I worked in memory care for like 10 years, and dementia is pretty sad. Pretty sad, So it's like, yeah, there's no good answer, man. I mean,
No.
cancer sucks, dementia sucks. There's no.
Yeah, it all just kind of sucks.
Jumping out of a insurance building after you went to a cigar lounge sucks.
That does suck pretty hard. Although apparently it ends pretty quickly. So,
I would guess that.
I would think so. So, okay, who's your next one up?
Do you think when they found him, they thought that the eye patch, like the missing eye, was from that, or like before? No.
I think they knew full well when they found him that he was already missing an eye. So, I mean, yeah. Fuck. It's dark.
That is very dark.
It's very dark.
Speaking of dark, the next person I think is going to die is.
No.
What do I got here? So I was doing a little preparing data, and I just randomly asked my son. I said, "Can you think of any really old actors or actresses?"
Okay.
And he had said the Aunt May from Spider-Man.
From the original movies?
Yeah, the Tobey Maguire run.
Okay.
Rosemary Harris, her name is.
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and she is 97.
Oh, be damned.
So yeah, Rosemary Harris.
All right. I was gonna say, if he's talking about Marissa Tomei, there's some life left in that woman.
No, there's plenty of life left in Marissa Tomei. Rosemary Harris, not so much.
Okay. All right. That's a good pick. I'll give you that. Not one I would have thought about. I like that. It's an out of nowhere pick.
Yeah.
Okay. So I said Michael J. Fox. We covered Gene Hackman already. So the next one on my list is Carol Burnett.
Okay, I think I saw an interview with her recently, and I mean, she seems pretty good, but she's got to be what,
91,
right?
91.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
it's like, you don't know. You don't know. So yeah, I went with Carol Burnett.
And the whole aging thing has always fascinated me. Like, you'll have people live like take like a Keith Richards or a Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
Just have a horrible
Just abuse
lifestyle
themselves. Yeah.
and they'll live forever. And then you have the people, that watch everything and don't live as long. So it's like you can't hardly ever predict, you can seem to be the healthiest person ever and just drop dead. Like we were just talking about Ricky Henderson, right? He seemed healthy. I mean, he's a stolen base leader, for God's sakes.
You'd have thought he'd have made it to his 70s, at least.
Yeah.
65.
It doesn't, 65 is below life expectancy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So like that's fucked up.
You're just retiring at 65. Yeah. So yeah, you never can tell. So
well, it's fucked up. So all right. So what's your next one?
All right. So we talked about Bruce Willis. Here's one. And I honestly thought initially she was already dead, but no, she is still alive. Eva Marie Saint.
Okay.
Now, Eva Marie Saint was opposite Marlon Brando in On the Waterfront.
Oh shit!
And that I want to say that movie came out 54 or something.
That was the 50s.
Yeah, so she is 100 years old.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so I don't know of any health problems, but she's 100 years old.
Yeah,
okay?
You don't need to worry about health problems at 100. I mean, like at some point, time's gonna catch up to you. So okay.
Eva Marie Saint, still alive.
All right. Well, you went with a woman. I'll go with a woman. Yoko Ono.
Yoko Ono.
91 years old. Yoko Ono.
I would have thought she was already dead.
No. 91 and still screaming. So
yeah, she outlived a lot of the Beatles there.
Half of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we still have Paul and we still have Ringo.
Yep.
Yep.
We do.
So, yep. So Yoko Ono is my pick there.
I have another carryover on my list. Robert Duvall.
Oh, okay.
Robert Duvall, I want to say is like 96.
Okay.
And he looks it. He is looking pretty rough. I'm trying to think the last thing I saw him in. I think it was that. Didn't he play Robert Downey Jr.'s dad a couple years ago? They were both lawyers or something.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, he was looking pretty rough.
Okay.
So,
well, I mean, dude, 96.
96.
He's gonna. So.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Alda. Alan Alda rounds out my top 10.
And what is Alan Alda rocking? 90?
88. 88.
Same as Robert Redford.
And I did not look up any health stuff, so I have no reason to necessarily think Alan Alda. It's more just like, you don't hear anything about Alan Alda at all anymore. And 88, it's like, he had to have been doing some shit back in the MASH days,
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Alan Alda. He's my. He rounds out my top 10. Now you've given what 3? You've given 7. So like we did have some carryover.
Yeah, we talked about Bruce Willis, so I didn't really talk about him on my list. But I have David Attenborough.
Oh, I thought about him.
So I want to say 94, 95, something like that. Yeah.
He's got some age.
He's got some age. And to top out my list, and you're going to kick yourself in this one that you didn't think of this one. You ready?
Okay.
Frankie Valli.
Oh, fuck, you're right. I didn't think about him.
Yeah. He is. I want to say he's 90, 91, but if you've seen any of those Instagram videos, that man died 10 years ago.
Damn it. I didn't think about. Good pick.
He looks straight up embalmed, dude.
He does. He looks
like.
You know what he reminds me of? You remember back in the day going to like Chuck E. Cheese or Showbiz where they had the animatronic animals playing the music and shit? He looks like the fucking he looks like Chuck E. Cheese up there singing a song. you know?
Yeah, he looked like he walked right off of Westworld, man.
Yeah, it was rough.
He is, yeah.
Damn it. You know what? That's a good pick. That is a solid pick right there.
Yeah, he was my number one. So yeah,
Okay.
between him, Dick Van Dyke, and Jimmy Carter, I think.
So I did have 3 others that were on my list that I cut.
Okay.
But I kept them off to the side just as kind of like honorable mentions, you know?
I got a couple as well, so why don't you go?
All right. So I have President Joe Biden on the list because and you named him last year.
Yeah, and once you kind of like, once you know you don't have a purpose anymore, and then I think he's gonna age real quickly,
And dude, I think there's a lot of health shit about him that they have hidden because he's the president, and I think once he's out, I think a lot of shit's gonna come out. You know?
Yeah,
I really do. I think it's gonna get bad.
I think we're gonna lose 2 former presidents this coming year.
The other ones, well, you go ahead with one of your honorable mentions.
I had almost made the list. Clint Eastwood.
And that would have been a good one. Would have been a carryover. I mean, I think it's fair to name him, but
90, I want to say 93.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he finished it or it's the one he's working on, but whatever one he said it's his last film. He's doing the last film. So it's kind of another one of those things, once you don't feel like you have purpose, it could be
kind of move on.
Yeah.
My next one is a bit of a wild card because I have no reason to think that he's going to pass, except for the fact that he's 77 years old and plays with animals, and that's Jack Hanna.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's an odd pick. I don't know.
It's just kind of out of nowhere. I just kind of am like, I could Jack Hanna. Why not?
Yeah,
let's put him on the list.
Mauled by a tiger.
Dude, he could be playing with a fucking puma cub on fucking Tonight Show or something like that and catch a stray claw to the throat. You don't know. I mean, shit happens.
That's true, I guess. I had Julie Andrews on my honorable mention.
Okay.
Sound of Music.
So my last one from the honorable mentions, and if you have more, feel free to throw them out. But I only had the 3. At 94 years old, Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett, yeah. Yeah, I thought about adding him. He did not make the cut. He's aged, but he seems healthy, and obviously he's got the money for any.
He does
all
have
the top notch.
He does, but money only buys you so much.
Yeah, well, it could buy you baby placenta or whatever they eat I had a little oddball.
He's just mainlining stem cells,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I had my final one for honorable mention is kind of a out of left field one as well, but I was thinking Sean Combs does a Epstein.
Ooh, dude, I was so close to making that same prediction and saying that we could end up with Diddy pulling an Epstein and ending up with suiciding himself or something like that. Because, dude, a lot of people are going to go down with him before it's all said and done.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So, no, good pick, solid pick. So
okay, it'll be interesting to see how we did. I mean, we got to do better than we did last year.
Right? I would think so. I mean, my God, we're playing with players that are in their 80s and 90s for the most part. A couple people in their 60s and 70s, but by and large, we're playing with people in their 80s and 90s here. You would think that we'd do better in 25 than we did in 24.
I'm telling you, if Jimmy Carter, fucking Dick Van Dyke, and Frankie Valli are still alive, they need to get a new Grim Reaper. Like, he's not doing very well.
Not doing his job. Fucking taking goddamn Chris Christopherson before he fucking takes Jimmy Carter for God. Who thought that? Who thought that Chris Christopherson would fucking die before Jimmy Carter?
Or anybody. Ricky Henderson.
Fucking Ricky Henderson, exactly. Yeah. It's like that just doesn't make sense to me. But yet here we are. All I don't know. Well, speaking of here we are, let's do this. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. Okay, so what have you watched? Because I haven't watched shit.
So outside of my usual like boxing and like trashy 90 Day Fiance, I haven't watched too much. What comes to mind, I don't know if I've talked about this on here or not, but I caught this movie a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was pretty good. It's called I want to say I saw it on Max or something like that, but it's Speak No Evil, I think it's called.
Okay.
And it's that one, if you saw from the trailers, what's the dude from
Whoa. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McAvoy. Yeah.
McAvoy. Yeah. James McAvoy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I thought that movie was pretty good. I thought it was pretty, no spoilers or anything, but like, I thought it was a pretty like clever plot, and I was actually team McAvoy and his for like 75% of that movie.
Really?
So, like I really, and I think it's by design. I think they do it this way, but the couple that they're targeting is real. Just kind of just hard to root for. Like the guy is just so wimpy and like coupled, and the woman is all like feministy, and it's annoying to me anyway. But yeah, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was one that you really kind of you put yourself in those shoes, and it really draws you in. Okay. I thought it was pretty well done. So I want to say, I want to say it was on Max. I think I saw it on, but it was pretty good.
All right.
I recommend that.
I haven't watched that yet. I remember seeing trailers for it. I'm trying to think, what have I watched recently-ish that I haven't talked about here on the show? I don't know. I will. Okay. All right. So I do get into this on a future show, which whatever. There, cat's out of the bag. I recorded a show in advance of this one that's going to come out later. But did you see the trailer for the new Superman movie?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it. And I heard, what is the guy, James Gunn? Is that right?
Yeah.
So he said that it is politically motivated.
The movie?
Yeah. So I don't know what that means, but
not that I could tell in the fuck. Yeah. I was gonna say the trailer looks super good, and so I've
heard it looks good, but
and it caused me to deep dive down the rabbit hole of the old Fleischer Superman cartoons, and those are public domain. They're on YouTube. You can watch them on there. But when you think about like when those came out and everything, the fucking animation in those, it's so quality and so good, and you just like, you wonder like, why in the hell, how can they do so awesome of animation back then, and yet now today, I feel like we've got too much computer shit in all of our stuff. I feel like movies rely on computers too much for special effects. I feel like animation relies on computers too much to do the job there too. Everything's too computerized, Yeah,
I would agree with that. So this last big boxing fight was last Saturday, the 23rd or whatever. And they tried to implement, so they had the 3 judges.
Yeah.
But then they implemented an AI judge as well.
I saw something about that, and I'm glad you brought it up, because that was something I was thinking I'd bring up to you. But yeah.
To your point, too many computers, man.
It really is. I don't know. I don't feel like it helps. I feel like it hinders. I think people rely on it too much.
It's a crutch for sure.
It totally is. And when you look back at and at Jurassic Park, for example, look, there was I'm sure there was some computer generated stuff in that movie as well, but there was a lot of practical effects in that movie. And then you go back to like the 84 Ghostbusters movie. Dude, that's all practical effects, That's all, and it's great. It holds up. And you look at like some of the shit today, and you can just tell. You can just tell that it's computerized and just whatever. And James Gunn, he's got that Creature Commandos cartoon or animated show on HBO Max, and I can tell just by looking at the screenshots that it's computer aided, animation and everything. And it's all fine and good, but it's not, I don't know. It takes the human element out of it. And I just think that there's something to be said about that. So the Fleischer Superman cartoons, if somebody wants to deep dive and just watch some really good, and they're shorts, they're Looney Tune length, kind of shorts. But holy shit, they're great. And you get to watch one that's literally called Japo Tears.
Ooh.
Like saboteur, no, it's like sabotage or whatever. Saboteur. So it'll be Japateur. But anyway, and it's all about, but it's because it's like in World War II. So it's like, you got the Japanese sabotaging the Japanese, Superman's over in Japan sabotaging the Japanese Navy and shit. So it's like, fucking there you go.
They should name a bottle of sake, a brand of sake. It's too good of a name just to let go to waste.
Right, Saboteur, Japateurs. Anyway, all right. Well, let's do. Wait, you got more? You got more?
I got a little more.
Oh, go for it. I'm sorry. I thought,
it's really nothing new, but because we were coming out of the holiday season. It's Christmas movie, and I went introduced my son to. Well, I'll ask you this.
Okay.
What do you think is the highest rated Christmas movie of all time on IMDb?
Oh shit! Highest rated of all time.
According to IMDb, the highest rated.
That's a good question. See, because like. My brain tells me, oh, it's going to be some fucking pretentious, classic Christmas movie like a Miracle on 34th Street or like White Christmas or It's a Wonderful Life, But then part of me thinks that it's going to be something like a Christmas Vacation or something. I don't know. That's a good question. What is it?
All right. So, yeah,
I'm giving up.
Okay, so with a commanding lead, like nothing's even close. It got an 8.6.
Okay.
It's a wonderful life.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, and so my son, he's 10, so he's pretty familiar with a lot of the Christmas movies. So I thought, he hasn't seen It's a Wonderful Life. I introduced him to that, and I was able to sell it. Well, it's the highest rated, Christmas movie all time.
Okay, let me ask you a quick question. What's the runtime of that movie?
I don't know offhand. It felt long.
That's
like
the
2.5.
thing. That feels like a ridiculously long movie.
So it's all basically build up for like
2 hours. 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So it's basically all build up for the last like 10, 15 minutes.
100%.
So it's like really sweet and really, wholesome, and it's got a good Christmas message. And my son, like, he grew up on Twilight Zone. I'm a huge Twilight Zone fan.
Yeah.
So like the black and white didn't scare him away.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was pretty checked out, I'd say, after about an hour.
Dude,
I had to kind of reel him back in. But
yeah.
It's kind of a hard. Realistically, he's probably too young.
It is a drama. Like that is a straight up Christmas drama right there.
Yeah, it's a lot of character building, 100%. A lot of character arc.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
You follow him through his whole life and everything up to that point. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna wrap a lasso around the moon and give it to you. Yeah.
George Bailey.
What was it? Was it his uncle that was a drunk?
Oh, fuck. I just watched this the other day. And
Oh God, I think it was his uncle. Well, there's one scene. I actually just saw a thing about this real recent, like within the last 24 hours. There was a scene in that movie where I feel like it was his uncle that was a drunk. He left the house, and Jimmy Stewart, George Bailey's out there waving him off, and you hear the sound of like metal, like to where it sounds like he stumbled into the trash cans. And and you hear him go like, I'm all right. And then George smiles and goes in the house, whatever. Yeah. Apparently what actually happened during that take, the actor went off screen and hang on, drink time. That was verklempt. The actor went off screen and a stagehand or a assistant or something dropped a whole bunch of shit and made this noise during the thing. But the actor improvised and said, I'm all right. And they laughed and he went inside. And I guess Frank Capra, the director, he liked it so much that was the take they ended up using was that with the spill. So that was a total accident, but it made it in the movie.
It worked. Yeah.
So, yep. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
Mm. Yeah, and that's referenced in Christmas Vacation, of course.
It is.
Yeah.
See, I love Christmas Vacation. That's like that is like
Christmas
mine.
Vacation. Yeah, Christmas Vacation definitely is one of those movies you can watch and it never gets old. It holds up over time.
There's so many subtle jokes in that movie too that you totally pick up on things over time. There's so much going on in that movie. I love it, but It's a Wonderful Life is a good movie. I don't want to shit on it or make it sound like, but it is a little slow, especially for how old is your son again?
10.
That's what I thought you said. Yeah, for a 10-year-old, that is a lifetime of time to watch that movie. I remember that because my parents would watch it, and I remember seeing it young too, and I remember thinking oh my God, this movie will never end, and you're right. It's you're waiting entirely for that last 15 minutes of the movie, Yeah. So.
But yeah, it does put you in the Christmas spirit. But yeah, it's a long ass for a 10-year-old. I probably jumped the gun a couple of years realistically, but
yeah. But you got to get them when you can get them, because at some point they're going to get too old and they're not going to want to hang out and watch a movie like that.
That's why I was really selling it hard.
Yeah,
so.
Well, I get it. Well, he's seen it, so now, he can move on. So
exactly.
There you go. Well, speaking of moving on, let's do this now. It's time to fly high with Blackbird Cigars. Blackbird Cigars offers you remarkable quality using the most delicate and finest tobacco to always ensure that you're receiving unsurpassed cigars. Blackbird Cigars strives to give you undoubted repeating flavor for every cigar you smoke and impressive quality so that you can always expect greatness. Check out their website for a full list of stores carrying Blackbird Cigars and give them a test flight. Blackbird Cigars, can't clip our wings. All right, so it's time for the Fly High with Blackbird segment here. And let me bring up my note so that I can actually get to the story because, I was on a different note. So, college student Ken Jones was attempting to climb Romania's highest mountain peak in 2003 when he was buried in not one, but two avalanches. Jones was climbing alone in freezing temperatures and had almost reached the 8,000-foot summit when he was struck. The blows broke his leg and crushed his pelvis, yet he mustered the strength to dig himself out, crawl back down the mountain, and limp 10 miles to a nearby town. And the ordeal took him 4 days. He was transported to a hospital, and doctors were able to repair his broken bones, but had to remove most of his stomach due to stress-induced ulcers. The one-time Army paratrooper was not expected to walk again, but he fully recovered and started his own elite fitness company. So be like Ken Jones and Blackbird Cigars and don't let anybody clip your wings. You think you could have made it down the mountain after two avalanches hit you and broke your leg and crushed your pelvis?
No.
Yeah, I think I would have died on the mountain.
Yeah, I'm gotten too used to creature comforts. I think if
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the fact that I didn't have a sparkling water for a day, I would have just killed myself.
That's what I always say. When people are like, you like camping? I'm like, well, my consideration of camping is a cabin with a nice bed and air conditioning and heating and maybe a mint on my pillow and, that kind of thing.
And
I
that
don't,
that that
yeah.
that's rough on that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even do the glamping with the RVs and shit. That's just not my thing. So,
Although, as a callback to one of the previous episodes, you did rough it with a couple senators in a shady hotel room.
that's, you know what? There is some truth to that, and if anybody wants to hear that, they can go back to the election day episode with Trey Mac that I did. I tell that story, but yeah, I did indeed. That was a fucked up night.
Is that the bed bugs, right?
That was the bed bugs, yeah,
Yeah.
and the nature documentary. I fucking wake up and I hear the lioness hunts its kill on the Serengeti, and it's like, what the fuck has happened? Where am I? Like, what? Where? I could be in my
Oh,
brother's apartment. My brother's like not even home. I could be in my brother's apartment, crashing in my own or in a bed and having a place to myself. But instead, I'm still in my suit on a cot in a filthy hotel with two politicians that have both stripped down to their tighty whities, and one of them hasn't gone to bed and he's just watching nature documentaries. It's like, what the? Where has my life gone wrong here? But yeah,
it was a good episode.
that was an interesting night. So
Um, so coming off the end of that Blackbird segment, how is your Blackbird cigar on the
I
treat you?
just put it down. I was down to the last little bit of the nub there, and I just put it down because it had gone out again, and I would have had to relight it. It was too little for me to mess with relighting. It was good. I mean, look, it's the Crow. It's the Crow just in box press form. Like you said, a
Hmm.
lot of leathery notes, a lot of earthy notes. The pepper did kind of pick up as I went through. Um, Admittedly, I did have some issues with it staying lit, but I do think a lot of that is was me talking so much and
Yeah,
everything.
I'm sure.
And that
Yeah,
kind of jacked with the burn line too, because it would go out and then I'd have to relight it. But
yeah.
then the burn line wasn't great. But it was after we finished. Maybe it was after we finished the. We were doing our predictions. It was after I finished having to read off things off a list, and we were
Hmm.
doing our predictions. I feel like that's when the cigar really kind of started getting going on its own. And for a while there, I mean, I had it going really well, had a good burn line on it and everything else. But yeah, we started talking more, or I started talking more, and it just kind of had issues. But I will say, as it ended, I can show the viewers here on the various video platforms. As it ended, the burn line is really relatively straight. So it did correct itself, and it did get to where it needed to be. So I think if I would have actually been sitting and giving it its proper due instead of trying to, manage multiple tabs in a internet browser on my phone and back and forth and doing this and that and everything, I think it would have been better. But yep,
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to compare it to the round one back and forth like we did with the Villiger one,
I
to
agree.
see how that.
Yeah, just to
Because
see like what's different.
I'm speaking out of turn. I don't know if I have this info, but I want to say it's the same blend. But again, they could have changed something
Yeah.
between the round and the box, so I don't know for sure.
What are your
But
thoughts on it since you're in the group? You
it
gotta
it
submit your
definitely
thoughts.
it definitely I didn't have any issues with it, but yeah, I was talking a lot less and didn't have as many tabs and shit open, so I can focus more on it. But yeah, it smelled good. To me it tasted just similar to the regular Crow, and I would say the Crow is probably one of my more favorite of the Blackbird lines that he has.
For sure.
Yeah, so
I still
I
think the
tend.
Superb is the best one they've put out.
Yeah, Superb is probably my favorite, but I would say probably Crow is probably number two.
I lit up the Superb for the first time at TPE in January of this year, and I told Jonas straight to his face. I said, "This is the best thing you guys have put out." And he said, "You're not the first person to say that," and I still stand by that. I still think that the Superb is the best thing they've got going.
And that's Habano wrapper, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was the first one they've done apparently, and it just hits all the right notes for me. So
yeah, it's a quality. For lack of a better word, it's superb.
It is superb. It is a superb cigar. So, well, in terms of the socials, I am available on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I am on Facebook where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group, Twitter/X. If you want to watch this, I am available on Rumble. If you're not on Rumble, you need to go over there, sign up, and follow us on Rumble, because at some point I will not be on YouTube. But for right now, I'm on YouTube, so you can watch us on YouTube as well. But head on over to Rumble and sign up over there. And then for those of you who use Spotify and want to watch this, I do upload Spotify video as well, so you can watch this on Spotify if you so choose. As for the cigars, Parishioner Cigars of the Year, I need to figure out. I'm getting closer. So there's apparently I need to look into Google Forms to make a ballot for that and get that all put together. And now that I am past the holiday, I can. I have plenty of time, so that is on my to-do list. So be watching for the announcement there. At some point, I'll get that out. I don't feel like this intense pressure to make sure that we're announcing this on like the first episode of January or anything like that. I mean, you know, the top cigar lists and shit like that kind of trickle out all throughout January. So, you know, we'll get this out. We'll get it done, and you know, it'll be one of those things. So, but be watching for that. And then, Noah, where can people follow you?
I'm primarily most active on Instagram at Mr. Zlesnik, if you want to follow me there.
There you go. Cigars and Snakes.
Cigars and Snakes.
Cigars and Snakes. So
okay.
So 2024, it's kind of coming to a close. Good year, bad year? What's your opinion on the year for you there, buddy? Personally.
Personally, I think I would say thumbs up. I mean, not to get too political, but I was happy how things turned out in that end.
Yeah.
So that was good. Yeah, I mean, I would say thumbs up. Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. Any resolutions going into 25?
Yeah, I never really.
Not into that.
I have in the past, but I never stick with them. So I just I don't really do those.
Okie dokie.
Just smoke more cigars. How about that?
Well, there you go. Well, that can happen.
Yeah.
And you know, do we want to talk about end of January?
Sure. Let's.
We say
I'm looking forward to that.
So you know, as all you listeners know, I go to TPE every year, and this year actually as well. If plans stay the way they are, assuming nothing weird happens and they deny me access or anything like that, I'll also be attending PCA in New Orleans in April. But it's one of those things that covering these trade shows, it's not an easy thing to do by yourself. I did it 1 year in 2020, and I went completely by myself to TP in 2020, and that was difficult. That was a lot of work, and I wasn't doing video then either. And so since I've added video, it really kind of adds a little bit more of a complicated workload to me. And so Noah and I were texting back and forth, and Noah, you'll be joining me out at TPE to help me cover that.
I will be there with bells on.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So you know, now the real question is Jerry Pulaski going to be tagging along with you?
You know, I didn't even think that far ahead, but I guess that is possible.
I mean, there is all that blue carpet area with all the various non-cigar related products that I feel like Jerry Pulaski could really get himself into trouble with some of that stuff.
If Jerry Pulaski found his way to some TH booth that was vended by Mike Tyson and got in an altercation there, that'd be something, right?
Tyson was at TP last year.
That's what I'm saying.
And he
lives in Vegas.
Dude, he was blitzed out of his fucking mind from what I'm told.
Well, yeah,
Like,
smoking his own product.
oh yeah, like he was on a different cloud than we were, So, um, but yeah, I mean, and Tommy Chong, he goes to that like every year as well. So, I mean, Jerry Pulaski
have mustache will travel.
I was say Jerry Pulaski could meet Tommy Chong as well. So
That'd be a good photo.
yeah, no shit. You never know who shows up there. So, well, cool. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah. Any excuse to hang out with friends, smoke cigars, and break up this fucking winter.
That's what I'm saying.
Man.
And you get some free cigars. You get some. I mean, we got the industry party at the Caesar's Palace. That's a lot of bumping good time. And
I mean, I'm old as hell, but
so
okay.
Yeah, same. I mean, look, I skipped it last year. I don't know if I'm gonna. I checked the box saying that I'm going to it this year, and I also know for a fact that you did as well. We'll just put it that way. But but there's no commitment. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, maybe say hello and do an Irish goodbye.
Yeah, or maybe we just make our way to the Monte Cristo Lounge there and just sit and chill, and
that's where it all That's where it all started for young Nicholas Miller.
Is where it all started, and the last time I was there, I don't remember. This has been a few years. The last time I was there, it was still really nice and comfortable. But I believe that was also during COVID time, and that's when they got me for the $9 bottle or bowl of chips. So we're past that, though, thankfully.
I wonder at the Monte Cristo Lounge how much a 1935 anniversary Monte Cristo would be.
Oh shit, man. 30,
50?
I would guess.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say 40, 50, because I mean that's depending on what size you get. That's like damn near 20.
It's around a $20 cigar around here too. So I was just I was going 30, but yeah, no, it's possible 40. I mean, the most expensive cigar I've ever paid for, was out in Vegas, and that was at the Davidoff of Geneva location there on the Strip, and I was going through the humidor and I saw one that had a secondary band that said Las Vegas, and I thought, oh, it's a blend just for this place and blah blah blah, and I'm like, I gotta try it, and I didn't notice that there was like there were no prices on anything in the humidor.
That's a scary sign.
And son of a bitch, man, I fired it up and I was like, oh, this is just a very basic, very light and mild Davidoff, just like you've smoked before. It just happened to have a secondary band on it that said Las Vegas. So I'm like, well, this is not anything proprietary just for them. And that was a $50 cigar. So
that's what I was going to guess. Yeah,
it was a $50 cigar. So yeah, no, cigar prices in Vegas are definitely high.
And anything in Vegas is high.
Oh, dude, and it got worse with COVID. Because, like, I feel like the first, so was it 21 I went out there, and I remember noticing the prices, and then 22 it got even worse, and I remember thinking, oh, they're gouging us to try and make up the money that they lost during COVID, but it never got better. It just stayed high, and it's just stayed ridiculously expensive for everything out there. And
once they're able to charge something, they're not too, they're not going to jump to reduce it.
No, but it was painful with some of the prices. But yeah, I mean, you just kind of plan for it now. I will say the last handful of times I haven't done really much of any gambling because the budget just hasn't allowed for that. It's like, would I rather have dinner tonight or would I rather piss it away at gambling? And so I just I don't do any gambling.
So back in the day, like, it was the opposite. So like Vegas, everything was cheap to just try to get you there to spend money in the casino. Now it's the opposite. It's like, we'll get you there for the hotels and the shows and the food, and gambling's almost secondary.
Yeah, it's really bizarre, but. Yep. So you and I will be hanging out in Vegas in a month.
Yeah, almost exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, right at a month. So yeah, This will be good. Well, yeah, no shit. By the time, a couple days. So like we're like 30, 32 days out from touching down in Vegas and starting TPE 2025. So
we'll be starting 2025 off right. We'll be basking in the death of Jimmy Carter and Dick Van Dyke and Frankie Valli.
I don't know about basking. I don't want to make it sound like I'm like celebrating, but
we'll put an ash on the ground for them.
There you go. That sounds like a good plan. Oh shit. Well, dude, thank you so much for taking time out tonight. I really appreciate it as always, and hopefully we do a little better on our scoring, this time next year.
I would hope so, man. I mean, you never know though. I
don't think we can get any worse. I mean, well, I guess nobody could have passed away that we picked, but
that's true.
I mean, but
like I said, if Jimmy Carter is still alive this time next year, that man is fucking animatronic.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He's died, and this is all fake. It's Weekend at Bernie's type shit now. So
Matrix.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Glitch in the Matrix. So
this sounds like it. This is venturing off into a train episode.
It is. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit the button now. So guys, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick.
This is Noah.
Everybody stay safe and stay smoky. We're going to have to find some really good places to have dinner out there, too.
Well, that's not hard to do in Vegas.
No.
That's easy to do.
Just got to get reservations set for some of them because, like, I didn't make it to Yardbird last year or this year, whatever, the last time I was out there because that's in the Venetian and I couldn't get in. It was booked up, but holy shit, man, some of the best fried chicken and waffles I've ever had in my life. It's just amazing. So good.
Sounds good.
Oh, so good. So good.
I just thought of one. Wendy Williams. She might die.
Ooh, you know what? All right, this is the Easter egg tease, the Easter egg tack on the list. I will give you Wendy Williams because I did see that picture of her at her son's graduation, and that one's sad, man. That one is so incredibly sad.
She's young,
and my God, she was so vibrant on TV versus what she looks like now. It's like, what does she have? I don't even
dementia. I'm pretty sure it's dementia. She had dementia got a hold on her. Yeah.
Or did he?
Yeah, right.
She came out against Diddy, so
got injected with something.
So all right, later, guys.
Stay smoky.